World War II is often described as a simple fight between good and evil, but the real story is far more complicated, far more dangerous, and far more hidden from history books. To truly understand why the deadliest war in human history began, we need to go back not to 1939, but to the end of World War I, when Germany was forced into humiliation under the Treaty of Versailles. The world believed peace had been achieved, but instead, the treaty planted the seeds of revenge and anger deep inside the German people. Their economy collapsed, inflation exploded, and millions lost their homes, jobs, and hope. In this chaos stepped a man who promised greatness, revenge, and a return of lost power, Adolf Hitler. But Hitler alone could not start a world war. Behind him stood industrial giants, foreign investors, and political powers who saw an opportunity in a broken nation. Many powerful businessmen in America and Europe helped rebuild the German war industry in secret, because a stronger Germany meant protection against the rising threat of the Soviet Union. The world was moving like pieces on a chessboard, and the real game was power and control. Meanwhile, Italy, under Benito Mussolini, dreamed of restoring the ancient Roman Empire. Japan sought natural resources and dominance over Asia. These nations formed an alliance not for peace, but for expansion and conquest. The League of Nations, created to stop wars, was too weak to act. When Japan invaded Manchuria, nothing happened. When Italy attacked Ethiopia, the world only watched. This silence was a signal to the dictators. The world would not stop them. Hitler began breaking the Treaty of Versailles one step at a time. He rebuilt the army. He took back the Rhineland. He annexed Austria. Each time the world spoke loud warnings, but did nothing real. Why? Because Britain and France feared another war more than they feared Hitler. They hoped that giving him what he wanted would satisfy him. But dictators are never satisfied. Hitler's real plan was much bigger. He wanted a vast empire called Lebensraum, German living space, stretching across Eastern Europe and Russia. Behind the scenes, secret military factories were being built. German scientists developed new tanks, faster aircraft, and deadlier weapons. The Nazis were preparing for total war, while the world still believed peace could be negotiated. The spark that finally ignited World War II came from a land called Poland. Hitler demanded the Polish port of Danzig and a road through Polish territory. Poland refused. The world expected Hitler to back down, but instead, he staged a fake attack on a German radio station, blaming Poland. It was a lie, a false flag operation known as the Goliath incident. The very next morning, on September 1st, 1939, German troops invaded Poland with unstoppable brutality. Tanks rolled across cities, the Luftwaffe bombed civilians from the sky, and war began. Britain and France finally stood up and declared war on Germany. But even then, the world didn't know the most shocking secret. Hitler had already made a hidden pact with the Soviet Union. They agreed to divide Poland and Eastern Europe between themselves, two giant powers united by greed and strategy. This deal removed the biggest threat to Germany's east, giving Hitler freedom to strike west. One by one, European nations fell under the Nazi wave. Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and then France in just 6 weeks. The German war machine looked unstoppable. The world watched in terror as democracy collapsed across Europe. Hitler stood at the height of his power, but he made one fatal mistake. He turned against his temporary friend, the Soviet Union. Operation Barbarossa was the largest invasion in human history. Millions of soldiers marched toward Moscow, and the war transformed into a global fight for survival. Across the ocean, another giant watched closely, the United States. For years, America stayed out of conflict until Japan, one of Hitler's allies, launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. The sleeping giant awakened, and the war officially became worldwide. World War II. But hidden beneath these battles lies the real truth. This war wasn't started by a single event. It was the result of global failure after World War I. It was driven by economic collapse, political ambition, fear of communism, and the dangerous rise of unchecked dictators. Powerful nations prioritized their own interests instead of world peace. Greed, power, and pride drowned diplomacy, and millions of innocent lives paid the price. By the time the war ended, more than 70 million people were dead. Cities burned to ashes. The world map changed forever. The war created new superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, and opened the door to the Cold War, nuclear weapons, and a future shaped by fear and control. World War II didn't happen suddenly. It was built slowly, silently, through mistakes, fear, and the world's refusal to act until it was too late. The real reason behind World War II is a warning to all of us. When injustice, hatred, and ambition are ignored, war becomes inevitable. So we must never stop questioning, never stop learning, and never allow the darkness of history to rise again, because the past has a strange way of returning when the world forgets what it once suffered. If you want want more hidden truths behind history's biggest events, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Unseen Battles of History, where the secrets of war are finally revealed.